Welcome, guys. In this video, I will talk about CoworkSurf. I'm gonna go live coding because this is the first day of my 4-day sprint session for CoworkSurf, one of the startups that I work on. And yeah, so I'm gonna go live coding. I will try to tell you guys as much as possible about the things I'm doing. Just leave me a comment or let me know in another way what you think of it, how it can be improved, and what you want to learn. And yeah, I'll try to do that in the next one. But yeah, at least for now, enjoy this one. We're going into it now, and hope you like it. All right, going into the coding editor. And the sprint is the first sprint of May, even though it's the 30th of April today, but tomorrow May will start, and this is continuing into that. So I'll call it the first sprint of May. Uh, 1 second, just spilled some coffee. Happens. At least it was not on my laptop. So yeah, let's go. It's already in the May 1 branch. So yeah, we can get started. One thing you need to know is this is a sensible project. It uses the sensible stack. That means we need to run the core if we want to make definition changes. There is currently also a UI folder, but let me check if we are actually using that, because I haven't been working on this project for over a month, and there were some changes done by one of my freelancers, but I think no, we don't use the UI yet. So I will just make a quick readme for that. I think it's always nice to do that. Um, so UI is a kind of a shared library between all front ends, but currently we only have the web front end, which is written in Next.js, so it's not needed. So that's why I added it for future purposes, but also to demonstrate to my team that it can easily be done like that. But yeah, it's not needed yet. So we don't have to run UI, but so every sensible project has packages and apps, and apps are the server and the web in this case. But sometimes you also have maybe an app, or maybe you have a VS Code extension or a Chrome extension, or maybe an Electron app. So there's many other apps possible. But in order to run this, we gotta run the server. Yeah. Let me quickly pause the video, if that's possible, to see if the environment variables are correct. All right, the environment variables seem to be correct, so we don't need to change them. We are running this server that I'm going to start up now against a staging database on a remote cloud server. So that's why I wanted to check that it's not talking to the production database, because that would be a mistake, since I may make big changes today. So yeah, let's see if it starts running. It's been a while. Let's hope it still works the same like before. And yeah, once it's running, we only need to run web. And there's also one thing I need to check there in the web. Let me quickly pause again. So I just discovered that we are not using this anymore. We seem to be using something that I did last month. At least it seems that way. So yeah, instead of those env files, I created an env JSON in the UI folder, which is gonna be the shared UI for all front ends in the future. And the reason that I did that is that this will also be able to be imported in other things that are not a Next.js project. So these are the remote server, the local server, and some key. But this is a public key, so it's fine for you to see that. And then the Mapbox key for the map. So it's running the local server currently. And you can see that here, Constance. It should say something like, I can't find it. So it's gonna try to import this stuff. Let's see where exactly it's being used. Constance, yeah, it's here. So the API URL is dev has to be true, and that's a big one. So in production, of course, you don't want to run the local server, right? So it's either the local server or the remote server. And there's just one problem with this. Currently, we don't have a staging backend running on the staging database. So that's something we can change in the code, because now it's also not possible to set that up with how it works. But that's an easy fix, and we'll get to that once we need it. So yeah, let's just get it running, because it's already gonna be talking to 4,000 as you saw. Oh, these warnings are annoying. So that's all we need to do is run localhost 3000 with yarn dev in the next project, and then it should be running everything we need. Of course, it will take a while to compile. It took me 4.6 seconds, and there's a lot of warnings here. That's also something we need to do something about, but currently it's not the main priority. And maybe you'll ask yourself, what is the main priority then? So I'll show you. We have a big Git repository here with a nice project that shows me everything I need to do from my co-founders. By the way, I do this with 2 co-founders, so yeah, it's very nice. And yeah, today my sprint starts. I'm planning to do 4 days in a row, maybe with 1 day break in between. So it's Saturday today. I may be done about Wednesday or Tuesday. And yeah, its first step, it seems, is the SEO optimization. So let's dive into that. We're just gonna look at all these steps and see what we can do. Yeah, let's do it, guys. I'm excited. Hope you are too. And this may not be the biggest coding experience for you guys, so it's not only live coding. It's also a lot of just learning about stuff and then applying it, and it doesn't always need to be coding. But in these sessions that I work, it's just live, a day in the life of my work, my working day. And I hope you learned something from it. And if you want to get something more out of it, if you have more questions afterwards, just feel free to ask me. And if you have any tips for me to improve it, also let me know. So the first thing here in this list, because my plan today is just to go down this list and do everything and as much as I can. But the first one is the most important according to my co-founders. So I will start with that. So yeah. So I have to spend the whole day today on SEO, apparently. Or maybe I'll be more quick, but there are many things probably that can help a lot. So Let's see what my co-founder has to say.
It started.
Okay, so let's look at the SEO first. Here you see the SEO during the last 12 months. It's just for 6 months because we kind of, well, it's more than, it's October, November, December. No, it's almost 6 months, right?
October 1st, right? Yeah.
Yeah. And here you see this line, the purple line,
Yeah.
it's impressions.
Yeah.
Impressions is kind of what you see growing when pages start getting traction in Google.
Yeah.
And you see here the impression is flat.
Yeah.
Like it's flat since we launched the site. It went down a little bit and up until, so you see it's
nothing
not
has been improved since 6 months ago.
It hasn't been improved since 6 months ago. Yeah. We can check the sitemap. Valid here. Here you see that up until this is when I started to implement these links for the different, and when I started to push Google to recognize these pages.
Mm-hmm.
So you see basically the last month, Google have started to recognize. Before it was only 17 valid pages, now it's 42.
Nice. Out of how many in total? Again.
So the sitemap has 47. It's still 6 pages that's not there. But despite that, Google have the last 2 weeks, Google have had access to the page. You see that it's like impressions is still flat. You see?
Yeah. I've been also waiting for the uptick.
What do you say?
I've also been waiting for the uptick. It's
yeah, but it's still flat, and so there could be, as I see, there's 2 scenarios. Either it's the SEO is still broken could be in one major way, or it could be in several small ways.
Yeah.
Or it just takes time. Even if once Google have indexed a new page, it takes it can take like even up to half a year for Google to start pushing those newly indexed pages.
Yeah.
So it could be one of those 2 scenarios. But it's still flat, and that's why since nobody would know if it's one of those 2 scenarios. That's why we need to start improving the SEO.
Yeah.
In different ways to improve the chances that Google will start pushing our pages. I can show you here as an example.
Yeah.
The NSA Insider page. Here you see a normal traction is going up.
Nice.
See the impressions, and with impression follows the clicks also. That's usually start with impressions going up, and then the clicks goes. I can show you.
Shit, so it's really those, with yours, the lines are way closer to each other. So is it really those just a few pages carrying all the clicks?
It doesn't matter how close they are to each other because that has to do with click-through rate and stuff. I just show you here my other website. Also here you see. Yeah,
nice.
You can see here.
Wow, that one's huge.
So you see, well, you see the difference.
Yep.
CoworkSurf is flat.
All right. So CoworkSurf is flat. We need to do something about those impressions. And there are probably a couple of reasons that Google is not finding all the pages. That's something. So there are a couple guides here for React optimization of SEO things we need to implement. Yeah. So React SEO best practices to make it SEO friendly. This is what my co-founder suggested. I'm not sure. Maybe I should look up a more specific guide For Next.js, however, this is the documentation of Next.js, so it's always a good place to start. So search systems are, for example, Google, Bing, and DuckDuckGo. They are massively complex systems, and they are crawling, indexing, and stuff. So I think this is correct. So what are web crawlers? Okay, I think we don't need to go that deep into it. This is also not the purpose of this video. If you want to look into this, just go there yourself. This is the URL. I think the user agent tells a lot. So yeah. Oh. So there are a lot of things here. This is actually a big guide. That's pretty cool. A friend of mine works here, and he is creating these guides. And I wonder if he worked on this one as well. Now that we have a general overview of how search systems and Googlebot work. Okay. So we have redirects. We have 200 OK status codes. We have temporary redirects. I think we don't have that. We have 404s, of course. That's a pretty important one, I think. So then there's a gone status code, but you can just return a 404, I think. So we don't need to make it too complex. And then there's the 500. This should never happen, of course. But it should still show the 500 if it happens that it doesn't work. So that's a quite important thing. All right. What is a robot text file? So yeah, the robot text is pretty important, but I think we have that set up correctly. It tells the robots to crawl the correct content and what to crawl, what not, and how often. Yeah. I think that's it. No, all of the above. Oh, okay. Yeah. I cannot do it again. Okay. I think there's also the sitemap. So I was kind of confused that it allows things to crawl. I think we definitely need a sitemap, and we already have. So I think that's fine. It's also a sitemap that's dynamically generated from an API. So it makes sure that it has all the pages that we actually have. So yeah. Okay. So it makes crawling easier for a lot of big websites. And then we have the meta tag robots. Let me check if we have that already. It seems that we don't. So this is the layout. And it really seems that we just have a couple of meta tags and not the robots one. That could be a mistake. You can also specify a specific search engine. So then we have the canonical tags. So if we have duplicate pages, we should have canonical tag URLs like this. So that will show the crawler that this is not the original content, but this is the original content. And that way we prevent the crawler from giving us discount our website, because we could get discounted if we have canonical URLs not being there, and if there's duplicate content, because that's not good for your score. So yeah, the deduplicate pages is not really duplicating pages. Maybe you can call it that. Then you have rendering. Okay, let's see, what's this? Okay. So you have static site generation. Of course, we're using that as much as possible. It's amazing. You should read about it if you don't know about it. Then we have server-side rendering. We use that in a couple cases, for example, for search pages that are too dynamic to statically generate. Then we have incremental static generation. I think we use that as well, because you want to statically generate, but sometimes you don't want to do that beforehand. So it generates it first incrementally when you need it, and then it keeps it for a long time. And we have client-side rendering, but you shouldn't use that. It is not recommended at all for optimal SEO. So we should also maybe make a note of that, because I thought I did it well, but it may be that for example, some of the pages don't have the correct content in the first render, for example, still, even though it should. So let's have a look at that as well. This is a very important step. So we want it to load without JavaScript. So we can probably have a tool to check if that's the case already, but let's write it down. That's one of the most important things we need to check. Yeah, they're all good for SEO. Okay. I still think the first one is the best one, but it's not always possible, of course. AMP is not always good. We're not using it currently because it didn't work well. So yeah, it's not very important. So the thing is that we need to be very structured in our URL structure, and we already do that. So I think this is already something we do pretty well. Yeah, I can show you a little. So the URL structure you can find here in pages. You have the location and then the property. So there's first the slug of the location and the slug of the property. That's our general structure. That is the most important. Then you also have a location page without the property. And then there's the API, which has robots and sitemap generated for you. Then there's the blog. So blog/blog/ anything will go to a blog, or will try to. /blog without anything will go to the blog list, the blog overview. Then there's the community with locations. We don't really use that one yet a lot, but it's coming. Then there's the dashboard. There's a lot of things there, but Google doesn't index this because they cannot log in. They don't have a password. So, and they are not generating that. But it also doesn't need to be crawled, so that's fine. And then there's the host. You can see a user there. You can preview a blog. You can preview a property. You can see the tribes. There's something that's coming up, maybe. And then, yeah, there's a couple more pages. And I think our pages are really well. The URL structure is really good. So that's not something I think we need to worry about at all. So yeah, let's see. The titles are also good, I think. So it always has a subtitle and a title. But if there's no subtitle given, it's just the title of the site, so CoworkSurf. So, for example, if we go to CoworkSurf.com, you will see that co-working and co-living communities at surf spots is the title, the subtitle, and the title is CoworkSurf. So if we go to this page, for example, it says and co-living. I'm not sure if that's correct. So let's say if we look for this, is there a problem, or I don't know why this is cut off. It seems to be fine though. Let's see if it's in Chrome. It's the title seems to be correct, because there may be a bug there. That could be a big thing already. Oh, of course, I want to go here. No, it seems to be fine. There's just a weird cutoff in Safari. And that's probably not a bug. That's just a feature from Safari. And yeah. Safari is not the best browser in all aspects. The only reason I use it is that it's very efficient on Mac machines, very low power consuming, and that can be great. Of course, all the pages also need a proper description, and it seems that we already set that up correctly, as far as I know. So yeah, in the head we need this description, and yeah. So the Open Graph protocol, you can provide stuff like a title, description. So let's see if we have any Open Graph. I think I made that before. Not sure though. It seems that it's not there anymore. And maybe we never did it. So the thing is that if you have an Open Graph protocol set up, sorry, I was here. So it can create rich cards when sharing a URL. And I think currently when I'm trying to share coworksurf.com/anything, for example, this one, I think when I'm trying to share this into Slack, let's go here. It's not having any image. It's not having. It's just crawling it, and it has the title, of course. It has a description, but it seems that even the description is not custom for this one. So that's something we can definitely improve upon, I think. So if we go back to layout, then we have a couple of things. So let's see which meta tags we had. I don't even know what this is. But it doesn't even seem that we have a description at all. This is pretty worrying to me. Yeah, it's all in web, so I'm not missing anything, I think. Unless it's in JavaScript files, but it's not. So, oh my god, I think we're missing a lot. The description is a pretty important aspect, and we didn't have that. I think I made it, but I think I made it before, but apparently it's not in the code. So that's something we definitely need to improve. So so we need a description. We need a Open Graph protocol with as many things as we can do. So we need OG title, which is just the same title probably as on Google. And then OG image, I think would be very nice to have an image of the co-working space when you share it. Yeah, so it's more clickable, that link, if you have a good OG. And then we have structured data. And I wonder if this is still there. because I also worked on that. Yeah. So as you can see, this we still have. And this tells us something about the property with the rating and stuff. So we should also confirm that this is used for any location and for any property page. So we should confirm that the LD JSON definitions work with a tool. But yeah, that's also quite important. And then these images, this OG things, is quite nice to have. They do it in a different way though. So the thing is, we made it a bit differently. I think it should both be fine, but maybe we should confirm that. So it seems that they prefer a raw string with a normal script tag, apparently. So yeah, let's see if we can do that. I think it's also a nicer way, way nicer. Because currently we were doing it like in a weird way to make it a string, but it's way easier to use to just start using JSON Stringify. So I prefer that as well. I think that should be good. Rating count. And then geo. Yeah, so this is much easier for me to generate. So let's see if that works. So now it's setting the inner HTML to a string, and of course this doesn't work. It's much better to read right now. So that's definitely an improvement. Also, numbers can be made numbers now. Yeah, this is a big improvement to just the readability of this whole thing, because now we're 100% sure that we didn't have any syntax errors, right? Because I have had that before when doing something like this. So this is definitely a much better way to generate the dynamic data. So yeah, it still has the LG-JSON. I wonder why they said that it has to be a script without a capital S. So we have to make sure that cross-site scripting isn't possible, because if we get stuff from the database, it could of course be a possibility. So if, for example, people put HTML in the title, that would allow cross-site scripting like this. So that could be a problem. So, okay. So we have to make sure that that's not possible. Location, the stars, the author. Yeah, it's all possible to put HTML in there technically. So let's see. Make sure that that's not possible, otherwise we will be hacked, right? Or we could be hacked. So there was one other place where we had this thing. Yeah, that's here. So now this one is good. So let's do the other one as well. So hopefully that fixes that, because maybe it was already working, by the way, but we cannot be sure. I mean, we could check it, but it's good to do it in the recommended way anyway. This makes it a lot cleaner. So I'm happy that I'm doing this anyway. So yeah. So review can be undefined, or it can be an array of this stuff. So I guess it's fine if it's undefined. It will not be breaking down, I guess. But I'm not sure. Like, maybe I should just hide this thing first. Let's see what happens if I try something like this. Mm. So this is a type error you get sometimes when you try to attach a new thing to an object that doesn't have that thing. But let's not do it like this. Let's just go back. I mean, we could do it like this and try to make it TypeScript friendly, but we could just also see first if it at all provides an incorrect syntax, because maybe it's already fine like this. So yeah, let's see. So then we fixed that. So let's go back to the page of next. No. And let's go to the next one. So headings. So H1 should be on each page. And it should only be one, I think. Yeah, the PageRank algorithm, I know about it. Yeah, so I think most of the cases where we use link, because 2 weeks ago I already added link. I added a tags in the links. You can probably still find that everywhere. But the thing is that we don't always need passref, apparently. If there's an A directly in there, it's not needed. Yeah. So let's do that. Let's check all the links and see if the passref is really needed. And in most cases, it is not. As long as there's directly an A, it's not needed to pass the ref. There's no key here. That is in here. Small thing. It's literally the only problem in the whole website. So that's good, we fixed it. Wow. Apparently there were many places where we had something like this. It's almost never needed. So if you would do it like this, then it will start complaining like passref is missing, but if there's an A inside, it's not needed. So I learned something there by reading the docs. Didn't know that. So maybe this was also a mistake. I mean, it's clear that it was not needed, but it's not clear if that would give us a worse score. Oh. So apparently almost everywhere we use an A directly inside, so that's good. It's funny. This has like, we have a lot of internal linking. I guess this should be an A. Because we need to be able to, people need to link to log in, then it should be linked by Google too, the login page, right? So for example, this is the dashboard and that's not indexed. So I didn't add A tags here, so then we need to pass the ref. And in some cases it's not indexed, but I will still make it index ready, at least for the future maybe. I guess also this stuff, like we don't need a P here since we already have an A. But yeah, I guess it's fine. And these are all the other things. These are the icons. So that's good stuff. That's improved. So I did already quite some changes here. Gonna ship that. I did a bit of cleanup. I did a bit of
You shipped it. You are the best.
I'm not sure why this is not added. Of course. So I'm not in the, I wasn't in the Git repo.
You shipped it. You are amazing.
Looks good. Again, then we have core web vitals. And we can just try this out. Let's see. I don't know what this is. I just think I'm just gonna run this one again. And see if it gets any red flags. Page speed. Yeah. I don't think it's needed to read all that. I think it's better to just run the test. I'll be right back. I'm pausing and I'll take a break and come back. All right, I'm back. I just thought of something. We have the robots and the sitemap. And we need to make sure that the sitemap has all needed internal links. I think that's quite important to have. So the first contentful paint is in 1.7 seconds. That's in the green area. Largest contentful paint is 3.4 seconds. And there's no cumulative layout shift because we have rendered it with HTML. So I don't know why it failed. But the estimation of on mobile at least, the performance is not good at all. It's blocked for a long time. So there is something going wrong here. So we are having really large images, apparently. Apparently stuff like this. It is coming, of course, from community.coworksurf.com and Twitter and Stripe plugin. So these are all things that are not on the next site, but I know that that we have started adding that iframe into our website, and I didn't give it much thought, but apparently this page speed insights doesn't really like it a lot. Oh, oops, I thought it was not calculated yet, but let's see, like this thing, which is all the way down here, is the Instagram and this iframe here. I'm not sure if that's smart to add as an iframe because that will decrease the page speed performance by a lot apparently. So let's go to the index because the index needs to be super fast, right? That's the most important page that people land on. Oh. I don't know why this is happening. It's the wrong folder. So I need to be in the May 1 folder. And then I need to go to the UI folder. I'm not sure what this is. My other co-founder that quit recently, I think he made this, and I don't know what it does. This is doing. This is apparently a button that we're using. Let's see if that works and where that is located. This one. Okay. It's very slow though. And how does it look on mobile? No buttons on mobile. There's also some margin problems here. I'm not sure at all if this is a good UI. Let's see, is it always visible like that? I don't like it. Okay, so yeah, it's no buttons. So the buttons, that's something not related to SEO, but now that I'm looking at it, I think we should definitely try to improve that. So apparently it's not visible for mobile. But that also makes I mean, maybe that's what we want. But let's see how it looks. I mean, you can also scroll like with your finger, right? And as long as it shows you the other one, so it makes sense. It shows you that you can scroll. Maybe we don't need those buttons at all. But do you think it makes it better if we add it? I think it's way too slow though. But I think the buttons could be nice, and you can always just still scroll yourself, right? So it's not changing much for most people. It's just more clear that you can scroll, I think, so that's good. Let's not make it more complicated than needed. So yeah, let's see how it works in Chrome. Okay, so as you can see, it's a lot faster here. It could have to do with the browser supporting this. Yeah, it seems a lot better like this. But also, like on mobile, these buttons don't do what I wanted. Is that because these things only work on? No, it's not good. It's not good here either. Okay, so this functionality needs to be improved. So the location card has a width of 288, but there's also a space of like, I don't know, 20 pixels maybe between each card. So it seems to have about 310, let's say, pixels for each card. And it seems to do only 275 pixels here. It'd be nice if we could just calculate it on the fly, but Yeah, this is raw JavaScript for just scrolling the view. And I think it's fine by now for now, but we can definitely use a component for this that makes it much easier and more reliable and less easy to break. But let's see how it looks now. Yeah, I think this is more what we want. It's probably not perfect yet, but at least it goes all the way. Right. So yeah, it also doesn't seem to be going showing the whole thing. So let's refresh it one more time. Maybe it was just in the wrong position in the first place. Also, does it snap if you do with your if you use your what's this? Okay. So this is good. This seems good enough to me. But the thing is, we can end up easily like this. So we need to snap to the correct position, right? I think there's a thing for that. Snap. Snap Y. But I will look that up after this doesn't work, which will probably happen. Yeah, it doesn't seem to be doing much. Or is it snapping? But there could be an additional thing I need to add for that. It's pretty slow, by the way, now on my computer. I hope the video is still recorded in a nice way, but I think this will also degrade the video performance. Could be something wrong in the pages. Could also be something else. Let's see. I'm getting about half a frame per myself, so this is really annoying. Didn't break anything. So apparently even YouTube is using a lot of memory. I don't know why it's not playing. So yeah, let's get back to the page speed after we did all those things. Mm-hmm. Okay, so there is the snap X, and then there should be a because location cards are only used here and there. And in both cases, those cards are in a snap thing. So I think it would be nice to just add the snap center in here. So let's see what happens now. So as you can see beautifully, it will snap. The only thing is that this seems to be broken now. Oh, fuck. But yeah, I don't think that's the correct way anyway to have those buttons. So it's doing like a couple pixels every millisecond or something. Every 5 milliseconds. I don't like this. This is a really weird thing. So this is not even like, I mean, 5 milliseconds. I mean, as you can see, like on Chrome it works, or it worked, but on Safari it was just very unperformant because it was trying to do something every 5 milliseconds, and that made it very slow. So this is not what we want at all. So I'm gonna remove this whole thing for now to improve it a little. I mean, to make sure that we don't start doing different stuff for different browsers. It's just not something we can do. So for now, since the buttons are cool, I'll just hide those buttons, I guess. But then you can't scroll. No, you can, but the scroll bar is not visible. Maybe. Scroll bar height. So I think we should remove that. So let's remove scroll bar height for bigger screens, right? So on bigger screens we show the scroll bar. So there's a beautiful snap, or at least, yeah, there's a beautiful snap now. However, it's not that clear now that you can snap to the next one. So is there an easy way with Tailwind? It's definitely cool. It would be great if there were a button to go to the next one with CSS. It seems that they don't do any buttons here. Hmm. So it just needs to snap to the next one. So if every location has a ref to their div, I think then we could do something like this. So I will just make an issue of this because I'm not gonna do this now. I'll just assume that people can see the scroll bar and that that's enough. All right, for 20. All right. Yeah, that was a bit of off-topic side jump. But yeah, let's have a look at. I've written down a lot of things that I can still improve, but let's continue this, finish this guide, and just finish all the other guides that my co-founder suggested. I guess you're also learning a lot about SEO now. Don't think we should read this. It will be apparent when we test the thing again. Oh yeah. SEO impacts. So the ranking, the web page speed is just very important. So this community thing should definitely be removed. We can also run Lighthouse with continuous integration. That's pretty cool. This is definitely something I want to kind of include into stuff like Sensible, but it's not. It's a bit out of scope for this ticket. So we're also gonna run Lighthouse after all those improvements. So we have the image component already working everywhere, so that's good. It's fine. So we can dynamically start importing things that we don't need. And I think there may be a couple things that are big libraries that we use on the most common pages. So let's first see what are the most important pages to optimize. Of course, index, optimize bundle for index, location, and property. I think those are the most important to optimize. Using dynamic imports. For example, this. We need to make sure that we have imports. That's a good thing probably to do, especially if we don't need it in the first thing. So those dates, for example, they're not rendered immediately. But to be honest, there's not a lot So this is the thing I think we should remove. Or is this? So this is also a bit weird. We should put this stuff. It's coming from assets in UI source. Assets. Oh, okay, yeah. Of course, that's required because we also need it in the app, right? So I think it's fine. However, however, this is a dynamic import, and I don't think that's supported. Also, this is just a very bad coding. So I'm gonna change that to. But yeah, Instagram images. Is that even something that we are using? So yeah, this is the title, and then there's these images. So apparently that's good because then we don't have an iframe for that. It's just some images. That's good. But apparently, oh here. All right. Let's rename this. I don't know why anyone would do this. And I think it's never recommended to do dynamic requires. So that's also something I'm changing because it may work in Next.js. Apparently it works, but this is not gonna work in Expo, for example. So once we are gonna generate a next step, then it will break, right? So yeah, that's why dynamic is not good. So there's 9 of them. Currently also they were not all there. But I think it's not needed because it doesn't fit. Seems good. It's not a video image. It's an Instagram image. And this is not correct. So Let's call it an image require. Okay, that code is a lot better now. And then we have the community images and an iframe. So apparently there are these community images here. But we also have this stuff here, which is just a component on the home page. And I think we could just reuse that, right? Proudly hosted. That's not it. It's above there. The banner. Community images. For some reason, it has the same style, and for some reason it works here. My site was just slow. This works, but then I think we should just maybe make a screenshot out of this, or maybe make a button like this here. I think a big button will do. So for now, I'm just gonna do that, and then later I'll discuss it with my co-founders. Let's see. There is a button here. This seems to be the one I want. But it doesn't seem to be finding it. Happens. Unclick, of course. Now the unclick is already in there. So let's see how it looks now. Hmm. So this is still fine. Does seem to slowly load. This has to be centered, and then I think should be good. What the fuck? Go back to all locations should just go internally, I think. Doesn't make sense unless we use it a lot. Well, maybe we use it somewhere else. Hmm. Um, hmm. Hmm. Yes. I think this is what we want. So we do have this beautiful slider, and then we have the button that will just open the community. That will make our main page a lot faster. So I guess that will be a huge improvement. So let's continue because we're not done yet. This is cool. So you can dynamically, if you have like a very dynamic page, you can just hide and not load components in until they are needed. Bug in Lighthouse, okay. So the core web vitals. So what font do we use and how do we include it? It's good to know. So we do it in this way. So we should use maybe this. We currently have a font face here. Avenir next. Hmm. Okay, so yeah, they don't talk about how to import fonts using CSS, and currently we're doing it that way. And I guess it's fine. But we could have a look if this is actually slowing down the page, because I think these files are pretty big. They are coming from public fonts. So let's see how big those files are. Oh, it's very small. So I think this is not a problem then. So let's keep it like it is right now. It's very small. Yeah, so that will not hurt anything. Optimizing third-party scripts. So we already have script tags. Okay, so the default is after interactive, but I think currently our script tags they seem not to use this one anymore. So we have FOMO on a lot of pages, and that could also hurt, especially if they make it slow. So especially if we use the lowercase script tag, because they don't have any optimization. So for example, here there should be some FOMO. So then there will be some pop-up like, hey, this guy booked, which is not even true. So I don't like this plugin, but yeah. Let's see what happens. I will take a break. Be right back. All right, I'm back. So there's currently a couple of scripts that are not optimized. So I think we should just look for Next.js. And how they do it. And then, of course, we end up on the Medium page. So then we have a key. And then we have analytics. All right. So they say I should just add this stuff somewhere else. So the Google Tag Manager, GTag, JS ID, blah, blah, blah. And the window data layer, GTag, GS, this is all the same. So if we can remove this, and we do it lazy unloading, and we don't do it in the head tag, because this thing has to happen anywhere. So it has to be in the app, because we want the analytics everywhere, even if it's not used, I guess. Even if the layout is not used, I guess. So what he is doing is putting it here. I'm not sure if we have site. The site is coming from the props, so that could be a problem. These scripts are not loaded in the head. Yeah, and site is coming from, for example, so it's coming from the sites like, which we don't have. I mean, yeah, it's coming from the env site or default, which we don't have access to inside of rendered components. So we cannot do it in app because we cannot do anything there. We want to keep the loading in order. So let's not do it here and just assume that it will work in the layout. And the layout is used on any page anyway, so it should be fine. But the thing is, we were using a component Next SEO, which is a a very cool component. Apparently, it did hide away a lot. So that was the reason that I didn't know. I forgot that we were using that. So I guess it does have Open Graph if it's available. I was already thinking like, where the fuck is it? But yeah, let's see if we use Open Graph images. We never use it, so implement that. And the OG title is also available. That's cool. That will definitely help. So yeah, that would be a big improvement actually. So that's great that I found that. But where was I? I was looking for putting this in the correct place. So it's not supposed to be in the head, and then we have next SEO. We have the top banner, the header, and then we have the main and the footer. But it's not supposed to be in that. It's not supposed to be in the head, so it can be anywhere here. So I guess this should work. So let's just save it and see, like they said here. Let's check if it works by filling in data layer. Here. How did he do that? Console data layer. Not found. Is this a bit recent, this thing? This year. Oh, not supposed to fill it in there. Supposed to fill it in here. Oh, going too fast. That seems good. And also here. Yes. So now we can confirm by looking at the according to this thing. We can go here. We should be able to see the live visitor as well from the local host, but I'm not sure if we can see that. Yeah. Real time. Right now 0. So doesn't seem to load. Or is this the wrong one? Could be. This could be the right one. I don't know why this happens. A very annoying UI. Ah, there. Real time. I mean, it does seem to work, but it doesn't tell me if this is the right one. So it seems that what is red? It doesn't seem to show anything except for here, and this one is also the one that is start. So that should be the one. Anyway, I'll just assume it works since it didn't return undefined. So that means I've optimized those scripts, but there's a couple more. So we also seem to do this, but I think it doesn't work in the head tag. So let's also put that here in the same way. So yeah, let's just assume it works for now, and if it doesn't work, we will test it and then we'll improve it later. I think then we will have improved all the script tags. So that's good. So let's continue to the next thing we can optimize. So we could enable analytics, they're saying. But I think once we do the most of these tips, it won't be needed and it doesn't change a lot. So for now, I'll skip that. So yeah, let's continue with the guide that my co-founders told me to. So I'll just quickly try to scan this and see. So we do have this. Yeah, I think this is all very, very general, and it's kind of already most things that you can read there are the things that we just already looked in the next tutorial as well, and it's already good. So, but let's just scan over these things.
If you are building single-page apps, you might be using a JavaScript framework to do so. One of the most popular frameworks is React. There's a series of other frameworks and is also known for introducing a DOM extraction layer and a domain-specific language to write component templates called JSX. The virtual DOM that React ships with will come in handy when we are trying to make sure our users get to the content as fast as possible, as we will later see. So, what do you need to do to make sure your React apps are discoverable in search, and how do you handle SEO? Let's start looking at a typical React app. While your React projects might be different in the libraries and components you use and their content and complexity, there's a lot that all React applications roughly have in common. For this video, we will start by creating a fresh app using the Create React App helper utility. In this video, we are using Create React App version 2.02. And first, we create the application skeleton using this command. This created a very basic React app for us to work with for this video. So let's take a look at it by running the suggested development server we can install via npm as well. So far, our application only has one piece of content. Let's make this more interesting by adding another route and another piece of content. First, we install React Router DOM. Now that we have a router to handle different pages, we can add a component for another page. We will be using a placeholder API to fetch a few posts, so we will call this the posts list component. When this component is ready to be displayed, we fetch the data from the API endpoint and store it, truncate it a little bit, and save it in the component's local state. In the render method, we map the posts to list items containing the post title, and then render all the posts in a list. Moving on to our app component, we import the router along with the switch and route components and change the render function so that we render the posts list component instead of the header and logo. This is a good time to throw out the default CSS as well, and then check our app in the browser. We now see a list of post titles, as we would expect. So, similar to the posts list component, we can now add a component called post detail to show one individual article with the title as the headline and the content below it. It is very similar to the post list, except we only fetch one post from the API and we take the ID from the post from the URL parameters.
Yeah, the
Let's
problem
add
with
this
this is
component
that
to our
it doesn't
router
have
setup.
server-side rendering or static
Last
site
but not least,
generation,
we
but
will
with
set
Next
up
we
our
have.
post list
So
component so that it provides links to each of these article pages. We will use the link component from React Router for this. Now we build our project and deploy it somewhere. With our sample application working, we can look into improving the discoverability of it so users can find our content more easily on the web. A good first stop to check how we are doing is the mobile-friendly test. We just put the URL into the field and we see what Googlebot sees when crawling our pages. We see that all our content shows up and that the links are A tags with an href attribute, which is what Googlebot will pick up and crawl. So our content will be indexed. But we can do better here. First of all, we want to make sure to give meaningful descriptive titles and descriptions to all our pages. For the homepage, that can be the name of the blog as the title and what this blog is about as the description. For the individual post pages, we should set the title to the post title and the description to the most important takeaways or summary. Well, we don't have that information here, so instead, for the description, we will just use the first 100 characters from the blog post. Note that this is an arbitrary length. The meta description does not have any length restrictions, but putting the entire post content into it isn't very useful either. To do this in React, we can use the helmet component that we install from npm or yarn, and then add it to the render method in our components. We can configure the title, the canonical URL, as well as any meta tags. Now, if we check one of the post pages in the mobile-friendly test, we see the title is the same as the blog post title. This is great because it helps users searching for a specific topic to see how the blog post is relevant for their goal. Same is true for the description. We show a snippet from the description in the search results to help users make an informed decision on which result is the best for their needs. All right, let's look at a more complex topic. As we explained in a previous video, when we crawl your pages, we defer the execution of JavaScript to a later moment when resources for rendering are available. This leads to two ways of indexing. The first one that isn't running JavaScript, and then potentially a second one where we execute JavaScript to see the content that depends on it. If your content changes very frequently or your site is very large, you might want to make sure to have your content be available in the first wave of indexing, so without JavaScript. It is also a good idea to not depend on JavaScript too much, as other bots might not execute it at all. And you might find that you gain a better performance for users as well if you do not rely on JavaScript to display your content. Luckily, React has a few ways of supporting us with reducing the reliance on JavaScript by doing server-side, hybrid, or dynamic rendering. In our example, the content won't change that often. So we can use a solution like React Snap to pre-render our content and deploy the resulting static files. Let's install React Snap and take it for a spin. Here it is crawling all our post pages. If we now look at the source of our page in the browser, we can see that these files contain our content even if JavaScript hasn't been executed. Setups like this are not always this easy to accomplish, but there's plenty of documentation available to find out more about the other possibilities for server-side or pre-rendering with React. We could also decide to only serve the pre-rendered version to bots like Googlebot. That would be called dynamic rendering, in which case do take a look at our dynamic rendering documentation as well. I suggest you also take a look at the other videos of this series for more great tips on making your app visible and successful with Google Search. We have a couple more episodes about JavaScript SEO coming out, so stay tuned. And please tell us what you think so far in the comments below.
okay, that doesn't help. This is all React thing. stuff, and that's not needed at all. We use Next, and it has completely different ways to set this all up. And we
The
already
first
have set
rule
it
of
up.
search
So
engine optimization is create really good content. The second rule of search engine optimization is create really good content. If human beings don't want to engage with your content, then Google doesn't want to either. We live in the age of machine learning and quantum computing. You can't just stuff a bunch of keywords into a page and expect to do well. When Google first came about in the late 90s, it was based on an algorithm called PageRank, which weighted relevance and search ranking based on the number of inbound links that a site had. People quickly learned how to exploit the algorithm by spamming backlinks all over the internet to increase a site's page rank. Because a high ranking in Google can literally be worth millions of dollars, it brought us an entire industry of SEO experts. The good guys wear white hats, the hackers wear black hats, but the most effective ones wear gray hats. But some say it's a dying industry.
Y'all want to see a dead body?
Because it's becoming harder and harder to manipulate Google's technology. There are over 200 factors that go into a site's ranking that are geared mostly towards how useful a user found your site. Did they immediately bounce by clicking the...
okay, I will just skip this because I think most of this is already incorporated into our stuff. So I will just watch the video myself and start recording after, so you don't have to see it. If you want to see it, just go to this link. SEO for developers in 100 seconds. Could be interesting, could not be. Up to you. All right, I watched that video. I think it's certainly interesting if you don't know a lot about it. And especially the section about HTML structure is very interesting. And I think we can win a little bit there. But I also think it's not that important compared to the other things we need to improve. So let's first do that. So the next thing is to sign up there. But I think the first thing is that we are gonna deploy this to a new page, and then we're gonna see if what Google thinks of it and the page speed and everything. So let's look at this. Yeah. So open graph images is certainly something we can try to implement right now. It would be nice to have, especially for the properties. This one. So yeah, to do add open graph images. Open graph images equals URL. So it needs the full URL to an image. It needs a width, height, alt, and type. And I don't exactly know what the type is doing. So let's look at the documentation of Next SEO. Oh, wait a minute. Or width height alt. Okay, so it seems that only one image is used, so it seems to me that article. Okay, but a book. We have a local business, but I think I already did this, so I mean, I can improve it, but no, it's cool. They have a component for that, so I can definitely improve that. It will be easier to make sure that I don't have anything missing, but I think images, all I needed to know is what is the structure of those images, and it seems it has URL, width, height, and alt. So it seems that only one is currently used by default, but I guess it's good to have multiple there for the future. Doesn't do anything bad. But yeah, there's no type, so let's remove that. I think this is all pretty much required, so let's do that. So let's see if we can get those values, right? So this is the image. We don't have a width and height, unfortunately. Would be nice to have, but we can actually see it gets resized on the server, I think. But then still, yeah, never mind for now. I'll just fill in something. There we go. This thing is probably this has to be an array. All right, so we definitely have something now. And we just have one image though. So there's also the other one that we can try to use. Host image and front image. I think front image would also be nice to have there as a secondary one. So if they are both available, then we have those images on Open Graph. Otherwise, not. Okay, so that's the property page, and then we have the layout. Then we have the layout of the location page. Location page. Let's go there. This one. Not sure if this is a good idea. Maybe we should block the content because this will make it not be indexed, I think. Yeah. So this is good, and I think we never end up here. So let's remove this. That's never gonna happen. Okay. So this has to be an array of either a location or a city. And Yeah. So now we are sure that the content is there. This should be good. Yeah, so now we just have one image for every city and location as well. And then we just need the index page to have a great image as well. We can just use the banner for that. I think it's a very nice image anyway. So open graph image equals URL. No. URL. Site header logo. Has to be a string though. That's a problem. So we can provide that header logo via public, so that we don't have to require it. So I guess we could just copy paste it from the UI. Yeah, I think this is very nice. So then we can just go to site. We can see what it has here. Of course, site has a URL. Without trailing slash. And for that one, we know the width and height, of course. All we need to do is have a look at this image, this one. And there we'll see that it's this dimensions. Alt site home subtitle maybe. I think that's fine. Or is description better? Let's see. Yeah. I think description is even better. So yeah, that's it. Now we have proper Open Graph images on every important page. That seems to be a huge improvement for clickability of the links that people share with each other. And also the performance should already be a lot faster, but have a look. So we can confirm this with the checker, and we can confirm that after. So let's see if the sitemap has all the pages. Okay, so the sitemap endpoint should have all the locations and all the properties and all the blogs. And that's it, no users. So all the locations, all the properties, and all the blogs. Locations, properties, blogs. So let's look at the server. Here's the endpoint. So the passion should be included into the location. It should not be paused. It should be accepted. And there should be a location attached. And there should be a passion that's correct. The blogs should be published and the blogs should have a passion. So we should also then make sure that this also happens on the locations endpoint itself. Yeah, the passion. Oh, So the problem is probably that we made a mistake here. Because there should be for locations, passions should be exactly. Oh, wait. So passion should be exactly passion. So we don't use passions at all. All right. So that's a big finding. That was probably the bug as well. So it has to be accepted and it has to be a passion. And currently, it shows all locations. Wow, this makes it even weirder. Let me log in into CoworkSurf and confirm that we can even accept it. Because this is the current sitemap, and it seems that it's currently not doing any locations. That's the thing. I'm not sure. I'll pause until I am logged in. Okay, so I found the problem in the database, in the production database. None of the locations are accepted because we have never actually used that parameter. So that makes it that it doesn't find any. So yeah, that's an easy fix. We will just remove it for now. It just has to find the locations that have a passion. And it seems in the database that there are there's a passion surf, and there's a couple locations with a passion kite surf. There's also the passions there, and they are also there sometimes, but not always. So there's a lot of them missing. So also that one is not used anymore. I think it can be removed in a later one. And I think if you add the location on CoworkSurf, by default, it will get the surf passion. So that's that. We don't need passions, we need passion. So then this should work. So let's fix that. Then we have the sitemap completed again. This is something we can test by the checker. We did this. Okay. Okay, so now I am able to deploy this. The problem is only that we don't have the sitemap complete yet, because that's the only backend change currently. But it's not the worst. And also, I think these ones, this is optimized, but this one, we could have a look at that. But let's first see what the current page speeds says on the new production. So yeah, we have some changes, a lot actually.
You shipped it. You did it.
So let's go to for sale and see where it has been deployed. So it's building now, and I guess it's also not gonna work yet because there could be some build errors. So let's build first. Wait. I guess that a build here will be enough. We don't need to do the turbo build. So there could be some new problems introduced with the new packages or something, or whatever. A reason for it to fail, there could be one. Let's see what happens. I think it's still building there. That's a good sign. This takes very long though. Okay, seems that there's no problems in the types. It could be that one problem that we fixed like an hour ago. So yeah, I really think that the internal linking should be good. That's the most important, but I did that already 2 weeks ago. So for example, this one doesn't need to be indexed. There's a lot of them that don't need to be indexed, like these. So all those router pushes, they don't need to be indexed. I already checked that. So this seems very good to me. I think we actually looked at most problems, but there could be once we do this check some more issues with the performance that we can improve. But we need to do. Oh, I'm sorry, guys. My laptop just the recording just stopped. It crashed the app, so I think I missed about 5 minutes. I saw there was a build error in Vercel, and the reason is that we are using an updated package there, which we didn't use locally. So what I'm doing now is going to the web and remove the node modules there as well. And after I did that, I am going to Yarn and install everything again so that it will have the same packages here and locally and on Vercel. So then we will probably see some problems after this is complete. And after we fix that, the build will also succeed on Vercel. So let's wait for the build. It's a lot of work. All right. That looks good. So let's see if this runs. The server runs. And the web runs. And then let's see if there are any problems. We have to be in a TypeScript for getting that command. Initializing TypeScript. And it has to search over the whole code base. I'm not sure if that setting is turned on. But let's see if the build succeeds. I think it won't. Okay, it succeeds. That's not good because in Vercel it doesn't succeed for some reason. So in the store, in the UI, apparently on Vercel it says that there is something wrong. On line 41. It's not supposed to be loading that long. So the use store, it has a new type interface, I think. I think maybe it didn't install that yet. Oh, 2.30 even. So now there's a problem. So let's add React with Native real quick. And see if we can fix that, because it's apparently not appreciated to start adding that dispatch thing. We don't need it, because I thought it would fix something, but it didn't. I don't get it. What the fuck? fuck? The string is a bit corrupt, so let's clone it again. And then we are on main. And there's a lot of problems. Because they are not installed. And that's a bit annoying, because there's no easy way to fix that. But let's focus. And let's see what the status is of this store thing. I think there's a bug in TypeScript right now, so then the best way is to just restart it. So it says that it returns that thing dispatch, and that will just return that thing. So it should be good, but maybe it's just not updated to the latest version. That could be. Could be some wrong here.
Something went wrong.
Okay, yeah, of course. cd packages with native. It will be good to have the watcher, so we can easily develop it, because that's what I forgot. And now we push version 33.
You shipped it. You rock.
So let's go back to CoworkSurf. And add the latest React with Native store there. And hopefully this,
You shipped it.
this will have
You are
fixed
the best.
build. So let's go back to Vercel now. And see if it builds now. So I'll be pausing this video until the build is completed. All right. So now it's checking the validity of the types after installing everything. And now the validity of the types should be correct, because there was just an outdated version of the React with Native store present. So yeah, I will wait a little bit longer. I'll be right back. All right. The server just compiled and built the app successfully. It's now deploying it. So in like half a minute, we will be able to run like a site checker. So let's see if we can just do that for this one. So for CoworkSurf, there apparently could be some issues there. So we need to sign up for this first. I'll be right back. Okay, so I've just signed up and I'm just importing the CoworkSurf project into Ahrefs right now. It could take a while. I have never done it before, so I don't know. But yeah, let's see. It seems that the site is now visible, is now reachable on this address. So that's great. So yeah, hopefully it's a bit better here. As you can see, it has all the updates. So that's cool. All right. So CoworkSurf.com has good stuff here. Let's see if we can create, and we can test this one. All right. It seems that I need to add the domain first to verify my identity, my ownership. Not sure how I do that easily. I need to add a domain to this specific deployment, and I don't think that's possible. So I wanted to do this anyway. We're gonna do that. So this is fine. And then maybe make one And it has to be connected to the branch of May1, of course. Makes sense. Hey. So we need to change the DNS records of CoworkSurf, and I'll be right back after I did that. See you later.